So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact system that I use to close consistent 35K, 25K, 10K, 5K jobs without having a single Google review, without having any reputation going into the industry. I had no relationships built. I had pretty much my back was up against the wall. I had no referrals. Nobody was passing me on work. It was literally just me going out, learning the trades, generating leads, and closing deals. So just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a backstory, in 2022, 2023, I ran a marketing company for local service businesses. And during this time, I was partnering with companies all across the United States, but specifically, it happened to be in my local market where I found a really cool opportunity, a big opportunity in the concrete industry. And I wanted to partner with a concrete company because I've seen a huge gap in terms of people who have any sort of awareness of how to run ads, how to get local presence, and how to actually start generating leads. So I partnered with the company, and my whole entire goal of partnering with the company was, and I really was focusing on this goal with this local company because obviously I'm close to it. I can literally talk to the company that I partner with in person. I can go meet them, all sorts of different things. So the relationship's going to be a little bit different versus someone I'm partnering with across the country. And so I had this goal of I want to increase their revenue. There's a huge gap in the market. And when their revenue increases, obviously I want my pay to increase as well. That's the whole entire goal of providing leads to somebody, is to hopefully explode their business. And eventually I pretty much follow right along with them. And so during this time, I was filling up my end of the deal. I partnered with the company in 2022, filling up my end of the deal, and I was sending them a really good amount of leads. And come to find out, they weren't happy. And I honestly didn't completely understand why they weren't happy. And what I found out when I actually dove deeper into why these customers were not happy, these businesses, or I shouldn't say businesses, I only partnered with one business in a local area, why this business wasn't happy, is it was a common denominator, because over the time of 2022 to 2023, I bounced through anywhere between, I think it was like 3 or 4 different companies, and it was an absolute pain. And I needed to figure out, after company 2, I needed to figure out what in the world's the issue here. And I got the exact same response from every company. I'm getting tire kickers. I'm not getting enough leads. The economy isn't great. People aren't just wanting to buy. There was some excuse for everything, and it was the exact same excuse over and over and over again. And what these companies actually didn't realize is on my back-end system, I was tracking every single inbound lead, inbound call, inbound text message to these business owners because I had a tracking phone number that I was running their marketing for. So I could see every lead that came in, and I could see every lead that they didn't follow up with, or I could see every lead that they took 1 day to follow up with, or 2 weeks, or a week to follow up with, or a conversation that they started, then all of a sudden that conversation died off, not because the lead didn't respond back, because the business owner didn't respond back. So what I found out was they weren't actually taking these leads serious. They were not responding to every single inbound lead that came in. And therefore, their excuses of these are tire kickers, or I'm not getting enough leads, or people aren't buying, it's the economy's down. Those were not valid excuses, because how do you know if a lead is bad if you don't actually follow up with that lead on a consistent basis? Because if you're not following up with that lead on a consistent basis, that lead will die off and it'll dry up very quick. The response time from the time a lead calls you to the time you should reach out within a business owner is literally same day. It's way less than 24 hours. You need to be following up. Speed to lead is the most crucial part in terms of generating leads and running paid ads to make sure you're getting the most out of your ads. Anyways, fast forward a little bit. I ended up parting ways from the companies, and I had to move on to another company. Did the same thing. Like I said, 3 or 4 different companies. And it was essentially a tough conversation that I had to have between the business owner and myself, saying, hey, this is not going to work out. It's not because of my leads, but it's literally because you don't have the systems to actually back everything up and make sure these leads are converting into paying customers. So at the end of 2023, that's when it kind of finally hit me that it does not matter how many leads that I'm actually sending these business owners. If you do not have a back-end system that controls every single inbound lead that comes into your business, and you answer the phone, you respond to them, whether it's a text message, a call, an email, then marketing does not matter at all. Your back-end system is way more important than the money you're putting into marketing. And so then at the exact same time, I had another thought in my mind. Every single marketing agency is shoving down your throat that you need leads, you need leads, you need leads. And yes, you actually do need leads to grow your business. But what they're not showing you is how to actually, one, run the ad, but this is not what this video is about, but two, how to actually convert these leads. And marketing agencies all the time are wondering why people are always complaining to them. It's because nobody's ever showed them how to actually convert a lead into a paying customer. It's the number one most crucial thing. So marketing agencies are telling you you need more leads. You pay them thousands of dollars a month, but yet they're not showing you how to convert the leads, and you're wondering why the marketing agency sucks. But really, it's probably not the marketing agency. It's your system and how you actually control these leads coming in. And that's one of the biggest reasons of why I'm a huge advocate to actually running in-house marketing, is because you actually learn the ins and outs of what it takes to actually run your business. Because one thing that's going to expose your business is if you have an influx of leads, but you can't control the leads. That's when you're going to realize there's cracks in your business that you need to fill. And so in-house marketing is so beneficial, because when you do in-house marketing, now you actually have to learn, okay, I'm putting my own money into these ads. Now I need to make sure that I have a system that controls every single lead into one corral. And then all of a sudden I can control these leads. Okay, this lead's controlled, this lead's controlled, this lead's controlled. I have 10 controlled leads in here. Now my closing rate is going to go way up, because now I understand where every single lead is coming from. I understand that what it takes for a back-end system. And it's just a much more cohesive way to actually run paid ads, which you fully understand if you take it in-house, and then fully understand your back-end system. You have to learn every aspect of your business if you actually want to be successful running ads, bringing in leads, and increasing your revenue. So one thing that I do want to stress is I am not against marketing whatsoever. I am against people who run marketing, but then say marketing doesn't work because they just have a failed system. So what I want to do in this video, I want to give you guys 3 actionable steps that you can take today to start controlling every single inbound lead. And these are not just steps that I've made up. These are steps that I currently implement within my business. I've implemented within my concrete business in 2024. I have done this exact step, and it was the reason I was able to close 35, 25, 15, 5, 10, 17K jobs with 0 experience, 0 reviews, 0 reputation, 0 relationships. Literally nothing going for me. It was the only reason. So step number 1, you need to make sure you have a system to answer the phone. And this sounds extremely simple, but it's the truth. Because if you think about it, if you actually go on your phone right now and you were to go into your industry, type in your competitors, give them a call, see how many people actually answer the phone. Speed to lead matters. Like I said, I'm going to say it a million times. Speed to lead matters. I guarantee you, if you call 5 companies, I guarantee you 3 companies will not answer the phone. At least 3 companies will not answer the phone. That's a lead that you missed out on. Imagine if you're that 4th company that someone calls after they called 3 companies and you're the only company that answered the phone. You know how much more likely you're probably going to get that job? The trust has just gone through the roof from that customer, because the way you do one thing is how you do everything. If you're not answering the phone the very first time someone calls you, imagine if you actually land a job and that job goes sideways and that customer calls you and you don't answer the phone. Well, you're going to have a ticked off customer. Literally, how you do one thing is how you do everything in business. That's it. And it goes from the start, your very first impression of answering a phone for your customer. And then another thing that you need to do when you're actually answering the phone is you need to make sure you're answering it in a professional way. So when you actually pick up the phone, for example, it should sound something like, "Hi, this is Gabe from XYZ Landscaping. How can I help?" I can't tell you how many times. So just a little story. My wife and I, in 2022, we bought a house, and we were doing a handful of different projects around the house. We were installing carpet in some rooms. We were painting the house. We redid the hardwood floor. So I was reaching out to companies, and I reached out to 4 different companies, I believe it was, in between the carpet, the painting, and the hardwood. Reached out to a total of 4 different companies, and a couple of the companies did not answer the phone, which is expected. So you just move on to the next company. I actually never reached back out to that company. Another one of the companies answered the phone, and all they said was hello. They didn't even sound professional. So therefore, immediately what I'm thinking as a customer is I'm thinking to myself, this person's answering the phone this way because they don't get a lot of customers calling their business. So they just simply say hello, like just a normal conversation, like a random number's calling them. They're not even expecting a call for business related things. So therefore, my barrier of trust is going up as a customer. I do not want this company. They didn't even introduce themselves. They didn't introduce their company. It just sounds like they're doing side jobs just for fun. Why would I go with this company? Throw them off the list. So it's super crucial how you actually answer the phone. Now, I'm telling you guys, this sounds so silly, but it's seriously I can't stress how important that is, because like I said, when people are giving you quote, or when you're giving people quotes, they're reaching out to 5, 10, I shouldn't even say 10, not that many, about 5 different companies. And if they've reached out to your company and you are one of the 5 companies that actually answer the phone professionally, hi, this is Gabe from XYZ Landscaping, how can I help? That first impression is so, so crucial. And so this brings me to my point of, okay, what if I can't answer the phone? And this is exactly where a CRM comes into play. So I actually am not able to answer my phone. One, I'm not in a position to hire a receptionist, just because I'll kind of talk about this a little bit later in this video, but AI is such a huge thing in this industry, and really every single business industry there is. But I'm not able to hire a receptionist. One, I don't want to, and two, I don't know if my business can squeeze in a receptionist unless we increase revenue by quite a bit. But one of the things that offset me not able to hire a receptionist is, one, I know that I can't answer the phone. So what do? I make sure that I have a CRM, so a software in the back end, to where every single missed call that I have, it automatically picks up and answers. Now, it doesn't actually answer the phone, but what it does is it shoots that customer over to voicemail, and within the first minute, it's shooting them a text saying something along the lines of, hi, this is Gabe with XYZ Landscaping. Sorry I missed your call. I'm currently with a customer. If you could please leave some information on what exactly you're looking for, we'll get back to you as soon as possible. It's super professional. So instead of you just completely ignoring that call because you're busy, you couldn't pick up the phone, this customer is not completely gone yet. A majority of the time, over 70% of the time when you miss a call, you completely lost that customer. So instead of wasting marketing dollars not answering a phone, what you can do is you can have a system in the back end that you miss a call, but they still get a text message immediately, literally within a minute, seconds after you miss that call, letting them know, hey, don't leave. I'll be right back. Just let me know what you need and I'll call you back as soon as possible. So that right there, that system alone has set my company up for success, being able to make sure every single lead is actually fulfilled, whether I'm answering the phone or not. Now, obviously, I want to be sure to answer the phone, and actually going into 2026, I'm going to be looking a little bit more into, this is within the exact same software, an AI receptionist answering the phone. And I've kind of looked into it a little bit. I think I might go all in on it in 2026. So instead of sending someone to a text message and they get a text message when I miss a call, a receptionist literally answers the phone, an AI bot. I trained this AI bot. It's actually not as simple as what it sounds like. And it's able to answer every single inbound call. I can't tell you, I cannot stand wasting marketing dollars. If I do not answer the phone, it bugs the heck out of me. You need to make sure you're answering the phone. So actionable step number 2 is setting follow-up reminders. And what I mean by that is, once again, I'm referring back to the software, the CRM. And guys, the best part about this, every single time I say software, it's all one software. You can do it all in one software. The software that I use when I'm actually setting up appointment reminders is this sets, number 1, the reason that I do this is because this sets me apart from my competitors. And what I mean by appointment reminders is every single time a customer calls my company, obviously we need to schedule out an appointment. We need to schedule out an appointment for an estimate, and then eventually I'll send them over the estimate and the whole entire process, right? So when we schedule out an appointment for an estimate, what happens is they get put in my calendar. And in my calendar, let's just say they have an appointment for tomorrow at 5 o'clock. When tomorrow at 4 o'clock rolls around, they're going to get an automated reminder saying, hey, just to remind you, you have a meeting in 1 hour. When 15 minutes before the meeting starts, I send them another reminder. Hey, just to remind you, we're 15 minutes away from your meeting. What this allows is it not only reminds me, because it sends a message to me as well, so I never miss an estimate. That's a terrible look if you miss an estimate. But it sends a reminder to them as well. People's schedule get busy, guys. Some people completely forget about your appointment. Remember, they could have an appointment with 2, 3 other companies throughout the week, and they got mixed up. A game popped up. The kids got busy. They had to cancel this, and they completely forgot to tell you, and you drove out to their house and completely wasted time. So these appointment reminders are super crucial. And another way that I send appointment reminders is every single time I send over an estimate, they automatically get a reminder. Hey, I just sent the estimate. 2 days later, if I don't hear back, I'll send over another. Another day later, so 3 days altogether after I send the estimate, I'll send another reminder. And then 4 days later, I'll officially send my last reminder letting them know, hey, I sent the estimate, and then I'll reach out to them with a phone call. So setting up these appointment reminders in place, it sets you apart from every other company. Nobody does this. All it takes is a simple automation to put in place that does everything for you. And it's super powerful because they've contacted 2-3 other companies that have actually sent them over estimates. Some of those companies have sent over estimates from texts. Some of those companies have sent from a software, but they had no appointment reminders. And then all of a sudden you come in, you're sending estimates through a CRM, an actual software. You've had appointment reminders this whole entire customer process that you've been with this customer for. So every time that you set up the actual in-person estimate, when you got to the job, when you set over the estimate, they're getting all these different emails, texts. It's notifying them, hey, I'm on my way, hey, I'm leaving, whatever it is, right? Being extremely professional. This sets you apart and puts you on a huge pedestal as a premium company, which honestly allows you to take a step in the right direction of charging a premium price. And then actionable step number 3 that I want to give you guys is you need to take your customers through a customer journey. I never fully understood this. I went 3 years within my business without doing this at all. I didn't have a customer journey. And what a customer journey is every single time someone calls your business, you need to have a process for every single customer. It needs to be the exact same way for every customer. That way, it's just repetition for your business. So for example, every single time a person called my company, I walk them through the exact process. What I say on the phone is literally, is it okay if I walk you through how our process works? Of course they're going to say yes, and then you walk them through the process. So how our process works is we always schedule out an initial consultation. So it's just a simple phone call. If we have time right now, we can actually do it right now. If not, we can schedule it out another time. Usually this takes anywhere between 10, 15, at tops 30 minutes. What this is it's just to make sure that we can actually do the project. We get to know your project a little bit better, make sure you're a good fit, we're a good fit for you, before we take the actual step in the next step in our process. And what the next step in our process would be after this call is we'll actually schedule out an in-person estimate. And then from this in-person estimate, if we agree upon the estimate, which I actually try to get them to sign the estimate right there on the spot because we've pretty much went over everything in our initial call to where they really shouldn't say no, because I give them a ballpark price if possible. And then in my in-person estimate, we go over the final numbers again. And then I'll actually try to get them to sign the estimate. And then obviously we'll schedule them out. So I have a customer process that each customer goes through. It's not different for each customer. That'd be chaotic. I need the same process for each customer. So that way, it's just repetition. When someone answers the phone, I know exactly what I'm going to say. It's the exact same process. It's all about setting your company up in an organized way to where you can crank out these customers one by one by one by one. So you can then scale your marketing, increase more leads coming into your business because now you have an entire system. You're answering the phone. You have a software. You have a company process. Like it's a whole entire repeated process to where you're never missing a lead because you fully understand what's happening within your business. So those are the 3 actionable steps. And I want to say one more thing. If you are running ads, but you do not have a back-end system put in place for your business, you are missing out on a ton of money. I encourage you not to run ads because what's going to happen is you're going to think the ads are not working. And I'm telling you, it's not the ads that aren't working. It's you, the business owner, that's not. So if you don't have those systems put in place, those 3 actionable steps, what you need to do is make sure you put them in place before you start throwing money into marketing. So if you take these 3 steps and start applying them into your business, I promise you are going to see a difference. And one thing that I want to do is we have a school community where we give away so much free information, including some of these actionable steps on how to actually start implementing them. I want you to join this community of like-minded business owners. And if you want to take it a step further, we have an inner circle where people are working a little bit closer with me and I show them, I hop into their business exactly how to implement these things in specific areas of their business to help them scale further. I hope these 3 actionable steps were beneficial to you guys, and I'm telling you, go out, start applying them right now.